Ladies and gentlemen, this is Internet Personality Vangelus here with a review of the Leader Class Optimus Prime from Revenge of the Fallen. This is a real superstar toy standing above even his other Leader Class brethren. This thing is really the toy of the line, and you can tell as you mess with it. It's also a terrifyingly intricate piece of engineering, and may even expand outside the confines of this video. The first thing I want to just show you is that he is, oddly enough, looking a little bit smaller than his original movie counterpart. He also lacks the rubber tires that made this one so cool. But rubber tires aside, he's got some interesting little features. The most exciting, of course, of the entire toy being that you can make him go vroom vroom when he's in truck mode. That's so cool. Anyway, that's all he really does in this mode. Well, actually, he can strike the people's eyebrow. All Rocky Maivia, the blue chipper. You know. Third generation. Jim Ross! Anyway, Leader Prime's transformation is truly inspiring. There are so many great touches of engineering in this thing. The way the gas tanks and truck roof form the shoulder blades is only topped off by how the mud flaps peg in to lock in place. It's also patently amazing how the legs and feet come together. Though the legs are just hanging out underneath the truck mode, the feet are spread across half the length of the entire alt mode. By the way, you really need to peel back the hood to reveal the arms before you finish transforming the waist, or things will likely collide in an impeding manner. Sweet SFX. While swiveling the shoulder connections into place can be weird at first, it's not too hard. What is a task is swiveling the shoulders themselves, since the arm blades tend to either get in the way or their spring-loaded mechanism sets off. By the way, to avoid hearing the voice chip all the time, simply move his head here and don't bump it. Simple as that. It's also a bit of a task to get the chest flaps in place if you don't know the trick, but if you know the trick, then you know the trick. What a transformation! At the end of all that, you get quite a large robot. For size comparisons, here he is standing next to a G.I. Joe, Amazing Mighty Kuga, Deluxe Swerve, RPM Bumblebee, a tube of superglue, small rubber Gashapon Bumblebee, Zen Garden Moisturizer, a wrist support, nail clippers, tape, a wireless mouse, a feather duster, the bottle of Coke Zero I've been drinking, a common household ruler. Actually, you can tell by the ruler here that he's approximately, let's see, just over 10 inches tall, by the way. Anyway, I should show you some other stuff about him, but I've got all the... we'll be right back. Now, I bet a whole bunch of you guys were waiting to hear that voice chip go off like 500 times during the transformation. Well, suck it! I totally post-production that! Though it really isn't that hard to avoid making it go off. You just have to not bump the block that moves up to activate the switch. If you don't know what to watch out for, it is pretty easy to bump it, but once you get a hang of it, it's really not all that hard. To properly activate the voice gimmick, though, you fold this little thing down and pull on it. That is some Cullen voice in there. I do like how he kind of kicks his head up. He's like, hey, I'm Optimus Prime. And the speaker is this grill section here, and it really fits in well with the sculpt, because it looks just kind of like a rib cage, so I do appreciate that. There's some Mech Alive that's supposed to be going on in here with these little moving bits, but almost kind of feels like it should be doing more, considering how much work this causes you to do during the transformation. Anyway, now that you've heard this a few hundred times in the space of a minute, let's move on to something more important. One glaring issue with the robot mode in general is what some of us have referred to as Games Workshop gray. This gray plastic somehow has the special property to look particularly unpainted. And that's a bit of an issue, especially since this dude's leader class. It makes him look kinda incomplete. And Buster Prime does solve this by applying some delicious Hasbro silver, but it's definitely something you can hold against this release of the toy. That small problem aside, though, you really can't fault the just delicious proportions of this robot mode. This is ludicrously movie accurate to the point of, I'm not sure what else they could have done on a leader class budget, short of a few little details here and there, like these blue boxes were going to be able to fold away in an earlier version of the mold, and his fingers obviously were going to be posable, and that was nixed as well. But really, this guy does a lot more than he needs to. And I have to give it humongous props for that. The amount of tiny fold-away bits just to make it more movie accurate is astounding. Not only that, but this guy manages to pull off something we had to wait for a premium release for in the first movie, that being the arm blades. Now, these arm blades, they look cool when they pop out, and he does have 2 of them, which is great, but they cause a lot of problems. Like, the fact that you can't actually straighten his arm out past this point. I've taken a while to figure out a way to pull this off, which is you have to kind of twist his elbow out of the way slightly and keep this thing in a certain position. Then you can straighten it out about this much, but typically, if they're stored, you've got to have his elbow bent quite a bit. And that's a bit of a shame. Also, during transformation, and even when you're just messing around with this dude, these things are going to pop out a lot because they aren't really held in there all that tight. So, I like the inclusion of the arm blades, and having 2 of them really makes this guy look murderous. And it's rather in character for this iteration of Optimus Prime. But I'm not really sure if all the issues that come along with these arm blades make the payoff worth it. It's kind of a you like it or you don't sort of thing. And if you don't like the arm blades, you're definitely not going to like how much they hinder several other parts of this toy. On the bright side, his posability is generally fantastic. He's got a lot of heavy ratchets, and that really helps out a lot, because this dude, at first I thought, these ratchets really necessary? They are extremely necessary, because this guy is loaded with a lot of stuff inside him. He's also got enormous ball-jointed ankles. The problem is, though, that the side-to-side motion on them is a little bit restricted, so you can't really get all crazy Revoltech style with this guy. Also, for all the joints he is missing a few key things, like a waist joint, which I think could have been engineered in. Also, while he is fairly posable, it can be a bit of a test to get him in a position that's balanced and can actually stay standing, aside from the awesome stoic position, which is great. When he's standing still, just staring at things wistfully with Peter Cullen narration running through his head, this guy is a badass. Like, he works like that. And for action poses, he can work for a lot of them, but he's definitely more of a stoic, chill-out-on-your-shelf kind of guy than a kung-fu fighting sort of guy. That said, he can look pretty threatening, especially with these giant orange blades sticking out all over the place. The blades, by the way, I do kind of wish they had some more paint on them. Again, Buster Prime, there's your solution. If you have, $90 you want to throw at the thing. But that aside, the paint apps I think are quite good for a leader class toy. He's got a lot of these flame apps, granted not as many as one might want, and again, Buster Prime, there's your solution. But all the paint apps he does have are quite nicely done. I do like the use of silver on his face. I adore this Hasbro silver, and I really wish that Buster Prime didn't have the chrome. I wish he just had more of this beautiful silver paint. But really, overall, you can't fault this guy for trying. I mean, he has a lot of detail that's not covered in paint, but it's sculpted there, and as I've said many times already, there are solutions if you want more paint. It's just that will cost you money. And if you don't want to spend all that extra money, this is basically a masterpiece grade transformation for a retail price. And that's why I have to give this thing a really hearty recommendation. As I said, you might not dig the Bayformer quote-unquote designs, but this Leader Prime really acts outside of that kind of thing. Even the most vaunted opponent of this style of design cannot deny the ludicrous levels of genius toy engineering built into this little package. And whether or not you like the movie line, if you like Transformers, you really have to pick this toy up at some point. The only time where I'd say someone who likes Transformers should not buy this toy is if you not only dislike the movie designs, but you also dislike intricate transformation a lot. That said, this guy's intricate transformation is definitely not on a frustrating level like some of the car robot stuff used to be, or Beast Wars Neo. It is still pretty intuitive, in my opinion, after the first couple tries. Just, watch a video. The instructions aren't going to be all that helpful. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus. I hope that this review was informative in some manner. And I hope that a Revenge of the Fallen Leader Prime makes his way into your home somehow. But I hope you're aware of it, because while this guy is a really cool toy, he's kind of scary. I mean, did you see the movie? I mean, this ain't your Papa's Prime. This dude is a little bit bloodthirsty. I'm sure it'll be fine, though. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, well, I'm gonna go and get something to eat.
Megatron. So we meet again, Optimus Prime! You'll regret scraping against those parked civilian cars, Megatron. I would commit 1,000 atrocities of minor misdemeanor to show you the might of the Decepticons, Prime! This is the last time you'll harm an inanimate object, Megatron. Even if you brought all the uni-legged women of Cybertron, Prime, you would never stop my nefarious scheme. I won't need anyone's help to deal with you today, Megatron. Your confidence is a delightful hubris, Optimus Prime! Think again, Megatron. For today, I'm going to kill you. Excellent, Prime! So you finally decided to make ours a fight to the finish! I'm going to slit you open, Megatron. Long have I awaited our destined final battle, Optimus Prime! I'm gonna pull out your liver and use it as a condom, Megatron. Prime, that book in your eye! It's a little foreign to me! A lot of things are going to be foreign to you pretty soon, Megatron. Breathing, life, dreams. I want to open you and eat you like a banana. Prepare to feel the sting of my malevolent murder arm! I'm gonna peel your f***ing skin off and build a toilet out of your bones. On second thought, Prime, perhaps we can sort this out with a battle of wits or some kind of human-computer game. Hi-ho, it's off to work I go. Oh no! Don't fight the knife, Megatron. Let it inside you. Put your life in my hands so I can take it. Run, please, act, time! I'm not sure why I began to feel this craving, this need, this desire. Murder, killing. That's not enough. I have to peel, slit, rend, desecrate. The bodies I leave in my wake won't bear a single bullet hole or a scar across a lifeless face. They will no longer be bodies. They will be components, pieces, canvas. The pleasure felt guilty at first, but as I held my longtime rivals' hot, wet innards in my hands, squeezing them between my fingers, I realized it wasn't guilt. It was hesitation, and his body was not enough. I need more, and I will not be done until I sit atop a throne made of the flesh and bone of all life itself. I am Optimus Prime.